Welcome back to Sonic Mania, and we are in Saudi Oil Ocean Zone. I almost said
Saudi
Oil Desert by
yes.
accident.
You almost said Saudi Arabia.
Well, that reaction pretty much sells how flabbergasted I was to see this zone return for this game.
I was actually one of the few people that was not surprised at all that this made it into the game.
I didn't really expect it.
Oh, you set the place on fire, you bastard, man.
I set one portion of it on fire.
I guess Christian Whitehead was a big fan of Johnny's review of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, because he answered his question about what would happen if you set the oil on fire.
Well, it wasn't quite as catastrophic as what Johnny depicted, but...
Well, yeah, but if that happened, the game would instantly be over every time you play the stage.
Oh, but it'd be the greatest...
Fire shield.
It'd be the greatest gaming twist of 2017. If you do that in the Sonic Generations, the super bad ending.
Wait, Sonic Generations, when did that come into play?
Did I say Generations?
Yes.
You did, sir.
Oh, well, I apologize to everyone who assumed that I would say something intelligent.
Yeah.
So I can assume by the lack of jump... I can assume by the lack of jump cut you actually succeed on this special stage this time.
Well, what do you think, Sam? Yes, I'm wasting your time and I failed this one, of course.
Frankie.
Well, I don't know. You could just be deciding to dick with us and make us sit through like a failure.
I'm not Chase with Metroid Other M, and I'm not gonna let you sit through all my failures.
And you're also not Ryan from Brain Scratch, who just doesn't know how to edit.
How did you say to burn on his soul? Now Brain Scratch God's is gonna come after us.
No, we'll have to actually have a subscriber count closer to them for his comments to actually matter.
Got a good point there. We mattered very little.
I made that
now,
look
for anyone
easy.
who may not know this, some may be asking what's the point of collecting the blue orbs once you get to Mach 3. If you collect enough and fill the bar again, you'll get a bunch of points, which can inherently lead to another extra life.
Well, it's 1/5 of a step to an extra life, but yeah. If you suck at this game, then extra lives are your best friend. But as you can see, 22 lives, I'm not really that bad.
But at the same time, you are running faster than the UFO at Mach 2, so a good strategy actually would be to avoid getting spheres after achieving Mach 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? I think for some of them, the UFO outpaces Mach 2. I could be wrong on that.
I always just go with... Sometimes I get it with Mach 2.
You run slightly faster than it at Mach 2, but you're encouraged to get to Mach 3 because as the UFO likes to take a bunch of big shortcuts, which are much easier to catch up with when you're at Mach 3.
Plus, rings are limited.
Right.
Okay, so one thing about Oil Ocean in this game that I actually really love are those tops. So I actually did a side-by-side analysis of the last bit of gameplay that I recorded for Sonic 2. And those tops actually pop up much faster in this than they do in Sonic 2. Much faster.
Which, I mean, depending on how you look at it, can make the stage more or less difficult. Wait, what?
Oh my god.
I figured that out by accident, too.
I never knew you could do that.
I figured it out by accident.
Now you know.
That's
you can do it in flying battery as well.
And
well, yeah, I knew that because it was a reference to the original stage.
Right.
And the reason why I love the tops going faster is because, like, one thing I noticed about Mania's overall design is that it's designed to, keep the pace going at a fairly consistent rate. So instead of waiting, stop and go, like Sonic 3 used to throw at you all the time, this game likes to keep things going at a pretty consistent rate. So in order for you to keep going, those pop up faster, and I like that.
Did you follow my technique that I told you about?
What
Getting
technique?
tails to fly you up easier? I remember when you told me how to fly tails, you just said, like, hold up and start mashing the X button and try to time it. And I was like, nah, man. Try to get tails to jump first.
I'm just now looking at the background of the stage, and I'm just now noticing the sun sort of like has a wavy haze effect.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's actually kind of different from the original. Oh, by the way, another thing I love about Act 1, the remix. That bass does not screw around.
Oh.
Yeah, the Oil Ocean remixes are like they're beautiful.
Again,
With the
is that the only way you know how to describe the music in this game?
No, I just love quoting Gareth
Well,
because
dang
that man is amazing.
Meh. He's British.
Man, this game running at 60 FPS.
What do you have against British?
It's a classic rivalry between Britons and Americans.
Oh, of
All right,
course.
this just in, everyone. Jesse is obviously
What
xenophobic.
happened to Tails?
Rip.
He just fell through the stage. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before.
Oh my god, glitch. Worst Sonic game ever. 0 out of 10.
Just wait till we get to
Tails-
Metallic Madness.
Tails just seems to be doing whatever the hell he wants. Good for him.
Where the
He
fuck
doesn't
is
have to be.
It wouldn't be a
Doesn't
Sonic game
Sonic's
without
little,
glitches.
Hey.
Doesn't have to be Sonic's little fucking slave. He can do whatever the hell that he chooses to.
Also,
Okay.
commenting on the stage real quick, we have a Sandopolis gimmick.
Yeah, except it's not annoying.
And considering the sound of this remix of Oil Ocean, it fits really well.
Yeah, I prefer Act 2 over Act 1 in this. I'm not gonna lie.
Act 2 Oil Ocean, and it's freaking
Wait.
fantastic.
I think it's way better than Act 1.
You see,
Like,
I did
so,
one
because
Not
Act-
because it's all original and not rehashed Sonic 2 shit.
Well, some portions of Act 1 are, I'm not gonna, well, they're not completely rehashed, but they definitely do, copy some
Very
parts.
similar. to the
Yeah,
original.
so, okay, with the, 2 or 3, Act 1s in this game that are, from the original games, what they do is essentially combine all 2 acts or all 3 acts together into one stage, as well as add in, 2 or 3 completely new paths, and then Act 2 is, completely different.
Yeah.
And
So let me ask you guys something.
What?
The submarine sections in Act 2 here. Am I the only one who that kind of gives Super Mario Bros. 3 vibes for some reason?
Nope, that was the first thing I thought of when I went into one of the submarines when I first played this.
Oh. Also, what's the secret submarine trophy? Where the fuck is that?
I don't know.
I think I know the one you're referring to. It involves going down like a secret pathway that leads to one of the special rings. And if you fall down even more into the oil and go right from there, you'll find the secret submarine you can go into.
Oh.
I'm pretty certain.
Maybe I
Cryptic.
got it already. I don't know. I just remember thinking
but,
about that.
by the way, Alex, you were talking about how Act 1 copies some portions of Sonic 2's Oil Ocean.
Mhm.
Well, there was one part, I remember you guys talking about this in the original Sonic 2 commentary, there was one part where a seahorse would always get you, always sting you. In that same general area in Act 1 of this game, the seahorse is actually below where he would be in Sonic 2. So, the developers behind this game knew that was a problem.
Haha. And you told us to get good.
Yeah, you were supposed to get good.
But the developers were like, well, that was a retarded decision. So. Yeah.
This boss.
And they know what's best because you love this game. You say it's the best Sonic game ever made.
Because it
I'm
is.
I'm gonna say it
Okay.
right now. This is my least favorite boss in the game for one specific reason.
It drags on.
No, because if you're it gets to this point when these arms come up. If you're standing on those platforms and they pull them down, you instantly die. And I'm not talking about if you're below them. I'm talking about if you're standing on them. You just instantly die.
Yep, that happened to me once or twice.
I think that was one of my biggest causes of death when I first played this game. And I know it may make it sound like I'm a scrub at 2D Sonic games, but I did actually game over here 2 times when I got to this boss.
Okay, so number one, for me, I died twice to this boss the first time I played it. I figured out the pattern pretty quickly. It wasn't really that
Think of
hard. Like, I don't really think that this boss is that bad. It's a little cheap with the platforms, but I don't think it's that bad. But I will say this, the guy who leaks this game, I'm bringing him up again because this is hilarious. He game overed like 6 or 7 times from this boss alone.
Wow.
6 to 7 times. So that everyone in the Sonic Discord that was watching was just waiting for him to beat this boss, and every time he game over, it's like, we have to sit through Act 1 and Act 2 all over again.
I think he was dying on purpose.
No, he wasn't. He just flat out sucks at the game.
I really think the only reason I got to this boss with so few lives was because I was taking my sweet-ass time in all the stages looking for special rings, like trying to get all the Chaos Emeralds, which I failed at on my first run, but I spent so long, I think I got 1 or 2 time overs, and then I tried dying from like trying to reach a certain spot I was certain had a special ring, but only led to death.
Well, one thing that some people need to understand about exploration in Sonic games is that, yeah, it's nice and it's there, but sometimes if you go on one set path, you're stuck on that and you can't go back.
Well, from the
You're
perspective
trying to explore the entire level in one go. Oh,
from
didn't
the
mean to put this in
perspective
here.
of
Just fucking spoilers about the next zone, Jesse. Jesus.
Who cares?
From the
I do.
perspective of the guy who still hasn't played this game, I'll just say that boss seems generally annoying.
Yeah, to this day, it's still my least favorite boss. I can get past it relatively easy now, but I still don't like the fact that it has that thing where you can just instantly get killed. I'm hoping that gets fixed in like a patch.
I'm sure it will.
If it's an actual like design oversight, or if it's an intentional design thing.
And as for me, I still think the worst boss in the game is Mirage Saloon Act 1, because that one is the one that drags on for way too long. You can cheese this boss fairly easily if you know what you're doing. I didn't do it, but you'll figure it out.
I can understand that.
And there's a number of bosses from the original classic Sonic games that I would consider worse than this. It's really not that bad.
I guess it mainly stems from the fact that I don't like bosses that have moves that can like instantly kill you without much warning.
Relatable, fam.